Hey everyone, thanks for joining on this video. I got another theory slash explanation video for you because this is how I interpreted what happened in the end of Union Cross, and this is actually one of the most confusing parts of the ending because we weren't really sure what to make of this, making it seem like there were two people in one place. Now, what I wanted to talk about was Brain being in Scala at Caelum after the time of Ephemir rebuilding that place. Now, we're unsure if Ephemir is alive or dead at this point, but I would put money on him being dead. But the thing that's confusing about this part, at least to me, and I would like to think to most everyone, I've seen a couple of streams and reactions and videos, is how Luciu can take over Brain's body, because that's what was implied and pretty obvious at this point, that Luciu took over Brain's body, but Brain also ends up in Scala at Caelum. So, I think it's pretty simple. I'm going to try and explain it to you guys, and let's just dive right into it. So, what I think basically what happened here is Luciu did in fact take over Brain's body. He took his heart out the same way Xehanort did against Terra and possessed him with his heart and took over his body. Now, what I do believe a possibility is that there was one more lifeboat there that wasn't going to be used. He said, "Are you going to use it?" He said, "No, I'm just going to stay here." So what I believe what happened is one of two things. Either that it was intentional or not, is what I'm saying. After Luciu took over Brain's body, his heart still was an entity, and that was formed there after that his body was taken over. It still had a will of its own. It's hard to say whether or not Luciu did this on purpose, or if it was Brain himself that did it and was able to kind of live on after his body was taken over. You see, what I'm thinking is that instead of the situation where Xehanort took over Terra's body and he just took over his body and his heart, and Terra's heart was trapped inside, what I think it was more of a situation where as Luciu's heart entered Brain's body, Brain's heart exited and it went into a lifeboat and it just went. The lifeboat just went forward. Now, this is why I think it was probably Luciu who did it on purpose, because the lifeboat wouldn't work without someone operating the computer. So I do believe that Luciu probably took over Brain's body and allowed Brain's heart to exit the body. He then placed that heart inside of a lifeboat, and that's where Brain ended up. Because the way that a lifeboat works, you don't need to have your body in there. They were incomplete lifeboats. They were incomplete arcs. So your body was going to be destroyed anyways. And the only way that you can be revived in whatever point in time you land, you have to have a medium, which is an item of sorts of yours or that resembles you. I think it has to be your item, like an item that is yours and was known for you. And then someone has to have memories of you as well in that point in time. So what I'm thinking is many years passed and Brain ended up in Scala at Caelum after the time of Ephemir. And that's how Brain gets his Keyblade back, because he gave it to Ephemir to wield and hold. And then he came back to Scala at Caelum after Ephemir's time, or possibly near the end of his time, and he gets that Master Defender anyways. And that's who the father of Ericus is. It's not Ephemir, it's Brain, because Brain went into Scala at Caelum after Ephemir's time, got the Master Defender back, and was able to bestow it upon his son, Ericus. They had the same hair color, and that's why. I didn't think that it would make sense that Ephemir was the father of Ericus because he has white hair, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Even if he were to get if you were to have a child with a woman that had black hair, it would be really hard to say because the seed is strong. So I do believe that if Ephemir was the father of Ericus, he would have had white hair, something of the sort. So that's not the case. I believe that time passed and either Ephemir has been passed on or he is about to pass on and he's a very old man. And Brain wound up in that time, specifically that time. And now, how was the medium there? The medium was that hat. This is why I think it was Luciu. I do believe that Luciu also left the hat in the real world, and when Ephemir was rebuilding Daybreak Town into Scala at Caelum after all those many years, I believe maybe he found this hat, and that was the medium that he had to hold on to, and he knew that he needed to hold on to the memories. So it's possible that Ephemir has passed on, but he still gave word to all of his disciples and his basically work associates, remember this man, Brain, because he will come back someday. And that's how Brain was able to come back with his original body, because his heart was extinguished from his original body as Luciu took it over, and then he was sent on a lifeboat so that he could be recreated. He didn't need a body to be recreated because his body was already taken, and his body would just be recreated with the medium and memories if they met him there. So that's how Luciu and Brain can be in two places at once. And that's why I also think the person that is in the cloak and grabs baby Xehanort is Luciu, is because at that very early point in time, he took over Brain's body, and he was still more or less a young man or young boy. And over so many years of Scala at Caelum being built from rubble, his age grew old, and he took Xehanort as a baby so that he can possibly enter his body next. That's in my previous theory video, go watch it. But so all that time has passed, and you can see that the way that Scala at Caelum looks, the way that the bricks look and the brick and mortar in the buildings, that is the same time frame. It may not be the same time, but it's the same time frame where Brain actually ends up back in Scala at Caelum. You can see that his original body has been grown old and brittle because it lived on, but Luciu took over his body. But then Brain came back as his original body with his heart at that point in time because of the lifeboat. And that's how I believe both Luciu, who took over Brain's body, and Brain can be in two different places. Because I did think that it was weird that Brain recognized himself as that, himself, Brain, when he came to Scala at Caelum. It was very believable, and I did not think that that was Luciu. And I didn't think that Luciu took over Brain's body, because that's exactly what was implied. So that's that, guys. I think that that's how it went down. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it made sense to you, that's all I wanted to do. If you think that there's any other way that this could have happened, or who that old man is, or how Brain wound up in Scala at Caelum but not possessed by Luciu, write it down in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear everyone's theories. These videos are just going to be busting out at this point because my mind is racing after this ending, and I'm really happy about the ending. Everything was really amazing, and I enjoyed it so much. It really opened many doors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.